Hey there, this is Dr. Mort Orman, and I want to do this video today as a follow-up to the video I did earlier this week on anxiety and talk a little bit more about anxiety with you. And the comments I'm going to make today about anxiety are appropriate for any type of stress you might be experiencing, but I'm just going to focus it on anxiety today because I started talking about that earlier in the week. So in that first video, we had a very superficial conversation about anxiety, nothing too challenging, nothing too confronting, just some basic information, a couple tips of how to evaluate, make sure you get evaluated for medical problems and things like that. But today, I want to do something very different. Today, I want to talk to you about anxiety in a way that nobody's going to talk to you probably about anxiety. So if you're suffering from any type of anxiety, or if you have any other type of stress for that matter, listen up, because I'm going to tell you something today that very few people understand and that you're probably not going to hear anywhere else. And unfortunately, the truth is that most people who suffer from anxiety, and I'm not talking about people with really severe anxiety that need psychiatric help or need medication or really have bad problems. I'm talking about run-of-the-mill anxiety that most adults tend to run into, some more than others. But most of the people who are in that category and who suffer from anxiety never ever figure out how to free themselves from that anxiety, even though it's absolutely possible and not all that difficult for them to do. And the reason they never figure it out, and the reason they never get free from their anxiety, no matter what they do, they can meditate all day long, they can exercise, they can read books, they can watch videos on YouTube, they can go into programs, they can even go into therapy many times, and still have the same basic anxieties and difficulties and stressful anxiety that they experience. And the reason they don't ever get free of it is because they never understand where their anxiety is actually coming from. They don't really understand the root cause of their anxiety or other types of stress they're experiencing. And the reason they don't understand it is because the root cause of anxiety is basically and fundamentally very simple. It comes from not telling the truth. It comes from not knowing the truth, it comes from not recognizing the truth, and it comes from not telling the truth. Not just on one level, not just on the superficial level of things you may be thinking or things you may be saying. I'm talking about telling the truth on multiple different levels, and you really have to be able to do that. You have to be able to tell the truth about emotions in general, where they come from for human beings. You have to be able to tell the truth about where anxiety comes from. You have to know the truth about what it means to be human, which most people, by the way, do not understand. You have to understand all the lies and misconceptions and myths that are propagated in our society as being true that are not. And there's so many different levels to it that you have to be competent in telling the truth in all of those levels to really make your anxiety disappear. Now, I know this for a fact because I suffered for many years with anxiety myself. I tried many things to deal with it and get free of it, and none of them worked. It wasn't until I did some very deep soul searching and really rehabilitated my ability to recognize the truth and tell the truth and go against what most people believe to be true that I was finally able to free myself from most of the anxiety problems that I suffered from. And they were very frequent, and they were very bothersome. Okay? And that's how I've helped other people deal with their anxiety and stress. Basically, what I do with people, and I don't really talk about this that much, but what I'm actually doing is helping people get in touch with the truth. Because if you have stress in your life or you have anxiety in your life, that's a sure sign that at some level, and maybe multiple levels, you aren't in touch with the truth about life. Because the truth about life is not stressful. The truth about life is if you're a human being experiencing stress, somehow you're contributing to that and you don't know how. And a lot of times the way we contribute to our stress is we are reluctant to tell the truth. And the reason we're reluctant to tell the truth is because the truth is no longer valued in our society. It used to be, but it's not anymore. Okay? There are so many things in our society today that are against you being able to tell the truth. It's all around us. The media is a culprit. The media makes it almost impossible for you to recognize and tell the truth. Just look at the political situation we're facing today. There is absolutely no regard for, interest in, or honoring of the ability to tell the truth. It is irrelevant for politicians. And that context that we live in every day, that culture that we live in every day, and it's not just limited to politics, it's in almost every major institution, where the message we constantly get is the truth doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. If you have something that you believe in, that's great. You're entitled to it, whether it's true or it's not. Bullshit. Okay? That's where stress comes from. That's where anxiety comes from. That's where a lot of problems in our life come from. And the solution, the cure to those problems, is being able to go against the grain, being able to think differently than everybody else thinks, being able to recognize the truth when everybody around you wouldn't recognize the truth if it hit them with a 2x4 in the head. Unfortunately, that's the state of affairs that we live in today. That's why there's so much stress today. That's why there's so much anxiety today. Not because human beings have to experience it, or that life is stressful, or that life produces anxiety. No. It's because we're walking around most of the time thinking that we're right when we're not. We're walking around thinking that we know the truth or in touch with the truth when we're not. And very few people have the courage to call us on it because it's not valued. And people let us get away with it. Just like we're going to let people in this political cycle get away with lying to us repeatedly over and over again, and we're just going to let them walk away and do it. That's the society we live in, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you have stress and why you have anxiety and why you are never going to get rid of those things unless you figure out how to tell the truth. And let me tell you something, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do on your own. You're not going to be able to go into a cave and sit there and contemplate and get better at telling the truth. It takes interaction with other people who know the truth, who know how to, are closer to the truth, and can help you get there yourself. Okay? I didn't get there on my own. I had lots of help from other people. You're not going to get there on your own. That's why I offer coaching services to people, because unless you can hook up with somebody like me who has the ability to help you recognize the truth about whatever stressful problems you are experiencing, forget it. You're not getting better, even though you could. Okay, so it doesn't have to be me, it can be other people, but it better be somebody who really knows how to get at the truth and help you get at the truth in deeper ways that you're getting at it right now. So anybody listening to this video, if that's something you want to do, if you really are tired of putting up with stress, you want to get rid of it, that's the answer, that's the secret, that's the method, that's the path you'll need to follow. I'd be happy to work with you in that regard. Just go to my website, docorman.com, shoot me an email with a contact form. I'd be happy to set up a time to talk with you, consult with you, and we can figure out how to best help you. But that's just a little taste of what's really behind the problems of anxiety, and like I said, it applies to other type of stress as well, so you can generalize it to any type of stress you might be experiencing. So that's it for today. Talk to you next time.